Welcome back to another Shadowverse video, and yesterday Wonderland Dreams launched at 11 p.m. and we created a deck, the Baphomet Control, starring the ever-famous Spawn of the Abyss. Pretty good card. So we will be playing this today, and the goal of the deck is just to try and get this into play and kill our opponents while controlling the board in the early game. So we have some Unicas, Baphomet obviously, with the only target being the Spawn of the Abyss, some removal, card draw, Healing Angels and Grimnirs, because they're pretty good. Grimnir in the late game can be the last 4 points of damage on the opponent. Dire Bond is going to be pretty good in this one. Righteous Devil, also pretty good. The Big Knuckle Bodyguard is really powerful. It does deal us 2 damage, but it brings us closer to that Vengeance, which is pretty good. Scarlet Saboteur has been amazing. The ability to just take out something with 2 health and then evolve and kill anything. Like, my opponent played Lord Atomy. I don't really have much direct removal. I suppose I have Revelation, but I was not in Vengeance. But being able to just evolve and hit it into it with Bane was really powerful. Okay, Bandersnatch. I have 2 copies of Bandersnatch. That's gonna let us get our Spawn of the Abyss into play pretty early, and for a pretty low cost. Diabolic Drain, obviously, a really powerful card. 3 Revelations and then 3 Spawn of the Abysses. So we will just go ahead and get that game in. Really liking the expansion so far. I feel like the neutral Swordcraft deck is a little powerful for my liking, but I mean this deck has a really good matchup against it. I've also been playing against a Lion of the Gold City, I think it's called. A bunch of Havencrafts. Been playing a bunch of Runecraft decks as well.
Prepare for defeat.
Played a couple dirt ones, and also a 3 mana 6/6, whatever it's called. The thing that they play in D shift. This hand is not great, I would say. It's good against D shift, which is certainly not the matchup here. Luckily we are playing first. Spawn is the bad draw there. I don't know what's wrong with this deck. It just loves drawing Spawn. Preferably I'd like to cheat out some of the spawns, maybe Bandersnatch it in, or Baphomet making it cost 5 mana, but, it's the problem with some of these Baphomet center decks. I had a Baphomet Azazel OTK deck. Yeah, no, that deck also always drew the Azazel, and that deck only plays 2 Azazels because it's not actually that good. I think we'll just go ahead and play Big Knuckle. Pretty good here, actually. If he plays like a Levi Magic Illusionist, that might be a little annoying. We'll see though. I'm not 100% familiar with all the cards, but as we play, we will figure out what there is. So he plays nothing. I think we'll take this time. We'll figure out if we can find something, draw some cards. Another Blood Pact. I think I'll pass on the Blood Pact for now. I wonder what he has for 5 play points. Nothing again. What is going on here? So we do draw into the Unica. What is happening? What is the best play to make? I think it's to play Unica for sure. Maybe I just evolve. I think I'm gonna evolve, put a little bit of pressure, Rune doesn't gain too much health except for, you know, the new card. And you know, I'll play this. Evolving this does, I think, play around the Calamitous Curse, which he might have.
The name's Levi.
Master Mage Levi.
Hey, that hurt.
Huh.
You're done for.
Here's what real magic looks like.
Okay.
That one didn't count.
I didn't quite know that was a card in the expansion, but it doesn't really matter. We're gonna be able to trade into it with the Bandersnatch.
Stop right there.
And Bandersnatch's last words ability, if it has in hand 7 at the start of your next turn, put a follower that costs at least 6 play points from your deck into play. Which we do have that. And our only legal target is the Spawn of the Abyss, which is pretty nice. Think since generally Rune doesn't have any healing, I'll just go ahead and play Scarlet Saboteur on his face. You know, I don't want him to do somehow. I don't want him to, you know, burst me down. So, you know, just gain as much health as possible. This is lethal, except it's not lethal anymore. Huh. It's a little annoying. I guess suppose that is one way to counter the Spawn of the Abyss. How defensive do I want to play here? I don't quite have lethal. And unfortunately none of my heals here are going to be able to go off. I think I'm supposed to play the Spawn here. Go ahead and attack with that. The question is if I put him to 1. I think it's fine to put him to 1.
Witness the power.
I don't know really if there's anything, but we will see. This deck that my opponent's playing has certainly been a quite weird, kind of like a control-y,
Don't forget.
Earth Rune-y deck. But no, it looks like this Master Mage Levi is actually pretty good in a control-y deck. It goes for the Evolve. I think that's just to show off the Evolve. We are just gonna go ahead and drain here. Instead of winning with Grimnir, might as well just go ahead and show off the new card, Spawn of the Abyss. That was a nice game there. Pretty good. Didn't get any discount. We got the discount from the Bandersnatch, which was pretty good.
All too easy.
And a nice 106 points. Just go ahead and I actually have another list over here that we'll be playing later, in a later video, and it doesn't have the Baphomets or the Bandersnatches. It's straight up control. You know, it plays Emeralda. It plays, I think, Ice Fiend, something, the 7-mana rush. Like, it's able to play higher play point cards, so I like it a little more. You know, this deck's a little too reliant on the combo aspect. I'm gonna mulligan the Blood Pact. I really like Scarbit Sabor here, but I'm gonna have to mulligan it right for this turn. So Sword in this expansion, the neutral Swordcraft deck is insane. Luckily for me, I think playing first against them and playing this deck, I have a pretty good advantage against them. Usually we just end up exhausting all their cards. It's important to remove everything that we can, because the 3-mana, there's a 3-mana spell that you can cast on neutral follower to give it +2/+4. That's pretty insane. So we are just gonna go ahead and remove this. And you know, they don't have too much healing, so we're just gonna be hitting him in the face a couple times. I would like to save the Baphomet. Cinderella. Cinderella is certainly a little annoying. Scarlet Sabor is gonna be good. Let's see here. So I could Baphomet just as a tempo Baphomet, but I think I like just playing Grimnir here, hitting him in the face. The Sabror is gonna be really good if he only plays one other follower. Impartial Strix. Wow.
You're done for.
I didn't expect to see that today. But I suppose it's pretty good. Luckily for us, we are gonna be able to. So the only really punish I can think of is like you can play like an Alice. But I think I really want to get the Baphomet. Get that to 5 mana. 5 play points. I'm gonna go ahead and take some damage because I have these Diabolic Drains and these 4 cards all heal me, so I'm gonna take a little damage. I'm definitely not like dead. This is kind of punished by like an it would be punished by him not hitting me into Vengeance and then playing it like an Albert. Goblin Princess is okay.
This ache, this thirst, quench them.
Do the Scarlet Sabror here. Take out the 7 damage on the board.
One bite's all I need.
It's a little bad. Maybe we should have played this game a little differently. This deck certainly doesn't get into Vengeance as the Storm Vengeance Blood did. So you know, Diabolic Drains can sometimes be a little awkward in their head. But the Impartial Strix is kinda a little crazy.
I bloom on stage.
So if we go Vampiric Kiss, we definitely want to kill this thing.
Show's over.
14. Do I think my opponent can burst me for 14? So he has 8 on board. He needs to burst me. He has 1 evolution point. If he plays that the actress, Faria or whatever again, it's gonna boost him for 3. And could he have something else? He could have the +2, +4. So that's gonna be 8 +3 +2. That would put me down to 1. If I play the spawn, I think I'm gonna have to go for that play. If he goes Albert Evolve without anything else, it also puts me to 1. So I think this is relatively safe. There isn't too many Storm cards in Neutralcraft, in my memory. You know, at like 7 mana. Maybe like Evolve plus Ariet. So if he evolves his Impartial Strix plus plays an Ariet, that would be 14 on its own. So it looks like he does go and play the Grimnirs, which is fine. A nice draw off the top would be like a Revelation. We could go Hungering Horde. Maybe Revelation wouldn't be good. No, but these impartial Strixes, I have not seen them in this matchup before. Definitely are
Partial.
a problem. Ooh, big knuckle bodyguard's gonna be pretty nice here. I am gonna do that first. So we're gonna be able to go Diabolic Drain here. Go kill it with the big knuckle bodyguard.
We'll finish you.
Diabolic Drain on I think it's still correct to kill the goblin. 1 extra damage. So I leave him with this. He needs 4 damage from his hand. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go ahead and kill the goblin here. Attack into him. So you're gonna bring him down to 4. So with the evolve on this, he would have 4 damage. He needs 4 other sources of damage. So 1 Albert is not enough. If these decks even play Albert, I think they do.
Until tomorrow, I'll dance.
So Cinderella here. Council of Card Knights. Or is that what it's called? Council of Card Knights?
Death to the fires of the
Yep,
queen.
that's what it's. So this thing is Bane. It's a little unfortunate there. We're gonna need something good off the top. Grimnir is not great.
I am the Mad Cyclone.
Stop right there.
Okay, let's see.
Majesty.
So with absolutely nothing in hand, I think I actually have to kill this thing. I am actually gonna go ahead and kill this turn. Like, he gets to play it off, but it would be the same thing if he if he traded it in with this 1/3 here, and he could still cast it anyways. I think I'm dead. Nope. Okay. Not dead so far. We're still live to drawing a Grimnir off the top. But I don't think there's too much else we can draw, unfortunately. We definitely did not get a lot of our card draw this game. A Scarlet Subror, maybe big knuckle bodyguard. Yeah. Not the greatest draw in the world. Unfortunately, if our opponent even has 2 damage, Storm, which is possible, you're dead. Those impartial Strixes are something, you know, interesting. Never thought about those. But it really, they are hard to deal with because this deck really only deals 4 damage with the Diabolic Drains. Well, unfortunate loss there. But we will just go ahead and get into one last game with the deck. I really think it is a fun deck. I think it's harder to play like these controller, you know, control-y vengeance style. You know, there's a lot of vengeance style cards in this deck. Then there's like, you know, the Storm Vengeance. Storm Vengeance, you just want to go to vengeance all the time. This deck, there's no real easy way to go to vengeance. Kind of have to like play it around. You know, bait your opponent sometimes. I've seen deck lists of this deck, you know, with Bandersnatch, and then it has, you know, Balfagor Dark Airjammer, but I like this controller version better against a lot of different decks. So the Dire Bond I think is going to be good here. I'm just going to go ahead and keep the Dire Bond on its own. A 2-drop follower here would be nice. Play against Blood. So I'm guessing it's one of these mid-rangey type of decks with the Spawn of the Abyss. We will see though. It looks like he has nothing. We will also play nothing. Card draw is really like paramount in these types of matchups. Goblin Mage. I suppose Goblin Mage is also an option in these types of decks, because it does go ahead and fetch you the Baphomet. I just didn't really have too much space. I was trying to shore up the early game against the types of aggro decks like that sword deck. Ooh, Demon Key. That's interesting. So we are drawing a bunch of cards, which is fine. I'm just gonna go ahead and cast a Vampire Kiss, I think. So let's see, when does this go down? When you lose life, when he loses life on his turn. So that's gonna be playing, so you know, he's gonna be playing some Ambling Wraiths, Blood-Fed Flower Beds that I can think of off the top of my head. We are going to... Unfortunately, we are going to overdraw 2 cards. I suppose it's not the most unfortunate. Some games, you know, you don't really want to draw into the Spawn of the Abysses and have them into your hand. So it's not too bad even if we mill over Spawn of the Abysses, now that we have a 1/5 mana 1 in our hand. We are going to be able to just deploy next turn. Looks like he also has a Spawn. I think this is actually really good for us. We're going to be able to just deploy the Spawn. If he doesn't have direct damage, which I suppose these decks could play, you know, 4 direct damage. It is kind of reasonable for them to do that. 4 points, he's looking for 4 points of direct damage, so maybe 2 Blood Wolves. Ooh, Diabolic Drain for him is good.
Go! Go!
Thy punishment, the unfailing dark!
So he's gonna knock us down to 4. Play another Baphomet. This one's gonna be, his next spawn's gonna be a full cost, which is good for us. How do we want to play this? Kind of eyeing the Righteous Devil here for the life gain. We could just go the Righteous Devil with the Hungering Horde. I think that's a decent play here, because I'm gonna evolve here. It puts him at, you know, he's not going as low, but I still think it's fine. We are representing lethal on board with the Spawn, so you might have to actually play... Oh, actually, I suppose that was a bad play because he just gets the Spawn. Huh. It's a little unfortunate there, but how else could we have played that?
Your strength is formidable.
Yeah, I don't think we could have really played that differently. It's a little unfortunate. Didn't quite think of the possibilities of the Spawn that way. But we had some fun, and that is what it's all about. We'd like to thank everybody for watching this video. More videos to come. A really exciting expansion. You know, some pretty cool cards. Pretty high rarities though, so you know, might see some repeat decks. But we'll try and go over all the, you know, updates to some decks as possible, and we'll do that soon. And I'd like to thank everyone again for watching, and rate, comment, subscribe, and see ya.